What's going on? We back again for another one.
Yes, we're back to talk to y'all.
What we got from today?
All right, we're going to talk about what happens at the Kingdom Hall. What really goes down.
What's going on? A lot of people, some of us know because we've been inside of one, but some people may not know because you only didn't, drove by, and a lot of them, you be like, man, why they ain't got no windows, man? What they doing in there?
I never thought about that, but like the actual main Kingdom Hall, it really doesn't have any windows.
Probably, I'd say 90% of the ones I've seen, probably 99%.
Yeah. Ours, like the second school had windows, but that was it. And it was just one lonely window that the blinds was always down.
Yep, so let's get into the mystery.
All right.
Now, to start things off, the Kingdom Hall itself, the meetings, is one big judgment match from the moment you walk in the door. This is something that's not talked about. And if you think I'm lying, just proceed. You are judged by the time you get there. So if you show up late, people looking at you. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
That's like the worst thing, being late to the meeting, because or if you, so for one, the song is playing first. You can kind of get away with making it in with the song.
Yes.
But prayer, you coming in, you got to stop, wait for prayer to get done. Or if the prayer just happened and they didn't started to talk, now it's dead silence except for this person on the platform, the door opening. So everybody looking like, now if you late one time maybe, but if you are late more than once now.
That was us. We were always late.
Us
we were
too.
always coming in like around the prayer time.
Yep.
And sneaking in. And our place to sit, that's another one.
Yep.
So where you're sitting at.
Where you sit at is another thing.
Yes, because they kind of, it's kind of frowned upon to like sit in the back.
Right.
Like you should be sitting, there was always all kinds of seats, like front and center, up at the front.
Yeah.
But our family's place of seating was in the back, okay?
Yep,
like we
that's
wanted to be the
judged.
last row,
Yep.
kind of back.
You get judged on that.
Always. But that's just where we sat at. And sometimes if we couldn't get the last seat, the last rows, man, we were sneaking ourselves into the second school and rolling up those blinds.
Yep.
We see y'all.
Exactly. It helped my mom be in disfellowship when we would go her, because it was just like, people ain't want to sit by us no way, really.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's actually how we started sitting in the second school, was because when my mom was coming back after she was disfellowshipped and like during the time when she was getting reinstated and everything, before that we would always sit in the second school. You know, like that's just for some reason that's where the disfellowship people go. It's like to the second
because
school.
it's already a task being disfellowship and having to go to the hall.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to walk past, especially say you sit in the front and there's no door in the front or something. You got to get up and can't really be like, excuse me and all this, or people are rude on top of that. You just kind of let me get through these people and get out this door.
To talk to them.
Yep.
So it was normal for us to always go and sit in the back or in the second school and just roll up the blinds, because then we could leave out really quickly too.
Right.
Since my mom couldn't talk to anybody anyway.
Right.
It was that's literally how that started, was because I never even thought about that, but that's how we started sitting back there.
Yeah, so that's another thing going on at the hall. Now, speaking of your seats, now this is so petty. It shows a lot of people ain't got nothing else to do. If two single people sit by each other, oh my goodness, the whole Kingdom Hall is watching. They looking.
Yeah.
Who is that? Why they sitting together? And then people are gonna come up and be all in your business after.
Yes.
Or if you got to study or something, who was that? Oh, was that so and so? I noticed you were sitting by Sister so and so. Or it could be just two people.
Are you guys dating?
Yeah, it could be just two people that have been in the same congregation sitting by each other. Now there's no privacy. It's very annoying.
That's kind of a thing, like an unspoken rule. If you're sitting next to another person of the opposite sex and they're single, then it means that you guys are dating.
Right.
Like if you guys are sitting next, that is so petty. I never
that's weird.
Like truly thought about that, but that's so petty. We used to have like big sleepovers and stuff. Like that is crazy looking back, but like the men would be somewhere and then like the women would be somewhere else, and we would all go to the same Kingdom Hall the next day.
Right.
And so when we would go, like we were all sitting like all next to each other, but that was a thing. Like if you were sitting next to, if I was sitting next to a guy, it was like, oh, are you guys dating? Like, what is going on there?
Yeah,
you know?
y'all better than us, because once we got to where we was traveling, I didn't go to the hall the next day.
That's another thing about getting there even on time. Like, your whole weekend is kind of messed up. You can't, like, be out late on a Friday night because you have Kingdom Hall on Saturday morning, or you have service on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So, like, you can never really do anything late, or you're going to be tired at the Kingdom Hall.
Yep, you got to be alert. And that goes into another thing
that
is forbidden. Falling asleep. As boring as it is, falling asleep is frowned upon. If you are not paying attention in that meeting to the brothers giving the talk, and people are paying attention. And another thing that's very important in the Kingdom Hall is, did you study your lessons the day before? So you get these magazines for Sunday, your watchtowers, and you go over the same topics over and over and over. So you got one person that's reading from the platform, each paragraph one at a time, or sometimes it's two at a time. And then you stop, and then the other brother asks his questions. All right, so friends, paragraph 1 asks, how does Jehovah feel about ABC? And then you got to raise your hand, and you are judged on this too. How often do you raise your hand and say a comment? Because
you got the quality of your comment.
Yeah, you can't just read off of, all right, it says blah, 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 ABC. You have to put it in your own words and then tie in the scripture with it, and then everybody will afterwards, good comment, brother.
Sometimes even tying in a little story, a personalization story, like really add some flair.
Yeah, that is something that you are judged on if you're not doing that enough. Or, excuse me, if your magazine is not highlighted, people are looking at that like, so and so. Even like when you carrying the mics to pass them around for comments, you looking at stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And that determines if you're a spiritual witness or if you're able to get promoted within the organization.
Or just like on a personal level, like with the women, because you're not really like getting promoted as like a woman in the organization.
Yeah, that's another thing.
You still want to have be on your P's and Q's and have your watchtower studied and do your comments and everything, because then at least you're looked at as like a spiritual sister,
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Extra.
Another huge thing that you're judged on is what you're wearing to the Kingdom Hall. So women, don't let your breasts be out. Like, you should be covered up. It should be modest.
Right. Not too much legs.
Yeah. Sometimes even the off the shoulder thing was a little risque. Like wearing an off the shoulder thing.
That's a little OD for them.
Yes. And then can't be too short. Like, it has to go below the knees. Gotta wear pantyhose. I hated pantyhose. I didn't like wearing them. And I remember one of the sisters telling me one time that wearing pantyhose is just classy.
Yeah, no matter how late in the years we are now.
Yes. Nothing can be too tight, especially if you have a figure.
Oh yeah, that's frowned upon.
Anything too tight. So that's how it was for women. For men, it was the tightness of the pants. And I remember when tight pants became a thing. It was the younger brothers. They were really the people that were my age. Right. They were into the tight pants because that was the new trend, was the tighter fitting suits, more fitted look. And that was a problem. They literally had talks from on stage about that.
Multiple times. The brothers, it was more strict for the brothers because we couldn't do much with our hair. Low cut, slight fro, depending on your nationality, you might be able to slick it back and get away with that. But
nothing, parts.
And the parts was something that was iffy depending on congregations. Nothing too bright. Your suit couldn't be too nice, too flashy. It could be nice, slightly fitted, but it couldn't be to where people are like, oh man, that's a colorful suit, or it was so strict. And then the tight clothing, facial hair had to be clean shaved. Yeah. Couldn't have a little bit grown in, you get canceled for that. It's just so much stuff. There was just no piercings. No. And then tattoos, you couldn't really have, your tattoos showing. Say if you had, for one, if you were carrying the mics or giving a talk, you have to have your jacket on. You couldn't have, just your shirt on with the tie. You got counsel for that. Yeah. It was just so many rules that were just unscriptural.
I think that was especially if you had tattoos. You can't be showing them if you're carrying the mics and everything.
Right.
And the brightest color suit that you guys could get away with was red, a burgundy or
dark.
Something.
It had to be a real dark
burgundy.
Yeah, but nothing bright.
I remember we had this brother in the hall. He literally had kids and everything, but he always used to wear bright colored undershirts. It would be bright pink, bright purple, bright blue, bright green, and he got in trouble for that. And that was just his thing. That's the colors that he liked wearing, and he got in trouble for like wearing all of those colors. He got counseled.
Yep, and it's not scriptural at all, and it's sad because the whole purpose of coming to this meeting is to learn.
Yeah.
And if you can't express yourself along the way, like,
no.
Where's the correlation? Like, at the end of the day, I'm coming here to learn a message by this person standing up here on this platform, and so is everybody else.
Right.
And me being able, why do we have to all dress the same?
I know.
Like, where does this have to do with us learning anything?
Women were definitely able to get away with a little bit more. Like, I could accessorize a lot however I wanted to.
Yep.
I liked wearing meeting clothes because I could really accessorize like different things, and they were like classy outfits. But I do remember, like, this brother that was, like, my age, he sent me a scripture, and it was the one where it was, like, do not adorn yourself in lavish clothing or, like, gold jewelry. It said something along those lines. Crazy. And I was like, what are you trying to say? He was like, you just come in with a lot of accessories. I'm like, that's just who I am.
Right. Like, you want
But he was dead serious, like, trying to, like, counsel me.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, you're like my age. Please don't talk to me.
And then speaking of counseling, everybody there feels like they're able to tell you what to do.
Yes.
Like they have the rights to pull you to the side and tell you you can or cannot do something. When in reality, the elders, they don't have no say so in real life, but they should be the ones that's counseling people. But people, anything you do, they feel like they got the rights to be in your business or tell you something. Yep, it's too much, man.
Yeah. So as far as the teachings go in the actual Kingdom Hall, the lessons that you are going over is literally probably a lesson that you've heard a dozen times in your lifetime of being a Jehovah's Witness. If you've been a Jehovah's Witness for a while, they talk about the same things over and over and over again
with a different twist, a new book.
Literally,
and the outline of the meetings go like this. So you go in, they sing a song, the same songs over and over out of a song book, and it's not like any really rhythm with the songs.
Until
like
they're
just like they just now starting to add that. Yeah. But it was always just straight keyboard, boom, 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 and everybody's singing, and it was very boring. And then here comes the prayer, and it's not like how churches have like a ooh and ah. It's just very monotone prayer. Everybody sit, and you're not really clapping much. You get to clap after the first talk. So the first talk, it used to be they would do it for an hour. Yeah. And then they shortened it to a half hour. So prayer, song, then a brother, it might be a brother from the hall or from a different hall, gives a talk. You got to pay attention the whole time. So everybody claps, and then it's time to sing another song, remember?
The clapping thing, I forgot about that. Because remember, they had us stop clapping after like...
It would be for a person's first talk or something like that.
Yeah, you could only clap for like their first talk.
Yeah,
for their
during the week.
Part during the week.
Yeah.
And then there was like no clap. But before, you used to be able to clap after like everybody, and then they kind of took that away.
And then added back. Sorry. Yeah, but so anyways, a person gives a talk. Here comes the second song. Everybody sings the song. You sit back down. And the thing is, you need to be seated the whole time.
Yeah.
Paying attention. Yeah. Go to the restroom. You're advised to go before or after, or if you really got to, go during. But you need to be alert. On top of that, there's no windows in most Kingdom Halls anyway, so you're not able to be distracted. You are here like this in this boring talk. Now this person gives the talk, song, and now it's time for what's called the Watchtower Study. This is on your weekend meetings, all right? Now the Watchtower Study we mentioned before, you read in this lesson that you were supposed to already study on your busy week you already had.
So you already know what it's talking about. You're basically just going over it again.
As a group.
Hearing everybody's comments.
Yeah, and it's tough. And sometimes the meeting lasts about an hour and 45 minutes. Usually.
Something like that.
Yeah, like about an hour and 45 minutes total. Sometimes a little closer to 2 hours, a little bit under that.
The best was whenever they used to do like the quick Watchtower review where they would just do the questions.
Yeah, like if it was a CO visit or something.
Yeah, so you get a second talk, but like the Watchtower is like super quick.
Yep, so the Watchtower, you sing one more song, and then it's prayer, and then that's the end. And then after that, you are advised, you are judged on this also. If you just leave right after the meeting, you judged because you need to sit and mingle and talk, and then a lot of times they go on service after. So if you're not somebody that's going to service after the meetings, you judge for that.
Yes.
Or they might go out to eat. You got to participate in all this stuff, and it could be boring sometimes.
Yeah, it's like that whole thing of like having to get there a little early so you can mingle, and then a little after stay, so you can mingle some more. It was just like Dude, I've been being around people all week long. Love y'all, but I don't want to be around you guys right now. I want to go home.
And that's on your Sunday mornings or whenever your morning meetings was. And then you had a midweek. They used to do a Bible study, so you would be there 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. But now it would just be your midweek meeting. Ours was like Thursdays. When was y'all's? Wednesdays. So this was about the same with the time. And this is when you come in, of course, song, prayer, and there would be a series of shorter talks. So multiple people in the congregation will have to come up and give a part. You might have to just read, a chapter out of a Bible. Mm-hmm. And then this is the sad part. The women in the organization are second-class citizens. It's kind of painted like, we appreciate us. Y'all get to give a little quick 5-minute talk sitting down at a table. Then it's like, all right, go.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much. The sisters don't get to stand on the platform
and do the big talks.
No big talks. You
can't pray.
Nope, you can't pray for the congregation.
We can't lead out in service.
Nope, you can't go to other congregations and give talks.
No, the only time we can lead out in service if it's just women that are out in service that morning. Yeah. Then we kind of can't. I've had a couple times where that's happened, and then the woman, whatever woman it is that's leading out in service, has to put a head covering it on to pray. Yeah. It's just so extra
ritual stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that's kind of how the meetings go. The midweek meetings, everybody would take turn, and then the midweek meetings is also when they make announcements, especially if somebody is getting shunned from the congregation or disciplined. They get up there and they tell it in front of the whole congregation to humiliate you, basically.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's basically the rundown of what happens during a normal Kingdom Hall meeting. But we also have assemblies and conventions.
Oh, tell them about that.
Oh my gosh. Assemblies are so long. So usually it's Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And it usually starts around 9 in the morning and it ends around 4. 3-ish to anywhere between 3 and 5.
Yeah, it would be Sundays would be your short days.
Yes. Yeah. But Saturdays were the longer days, so it would be between 3 and 5. So during the assembly, the only fun thing that I liked about the assembly was being able to see the demonstrations, because usually somebody that I knew had one of the demonstrations. So it's fun seeing your friend up there and seeing the rest of your friends from your whole circuit. That's what was fun about the assemblies and conventions, okay? But the rest of the stuff, having to sit there through the whole thing, some of it was interesting, and you're supposed to be taking notes the whole time. You're looked at as a good person if you're taking notes, and it shows that you're really listening to what they're saying.
Right.
If you're taking notes. But you would get in trouble if you would get up and be walking around a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know, sometimes you're just not feeling it. So you don't want to be in that crowd, that whole auditorium for 8+ hours or
sitting still.
Just sitting there
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it was a lot.
Yeah. And the assemblies, Saturday, Sundays, they would have multiple brothers. It would be a symposium, so it would be a title.
Yes.
Revelations from Jehovah, or whatever the title is. Brother so-and-so first. 10-20 minutes, then brother so-and-so, and then a demonstration. It would be, and then it would come with a program to follow along, 9:15 this and that.
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, and it's boring. It is extremely boring. You have to sit there. A lot of people eat snacks the whole time just to stay awake. But it is extremely boring. Then you have lunch in between, and then afterwards it's the second half, and this one you really be tired
because you didn't ate.
Yep, you didn't ate, and now you got to go sit still again, and it's very, very boring.
I was not good at sitting still. I was always that person that was up at the conventions and up at the assemblies, walking the halls. That was me.
Oh, that's tough.
And I would be over in the assemblies, going to the cafeteria and because their tables would be out.
Right.
So I would be sitting out there, and then I'd go back to my seat, and then I'd come back out.
Back again.
Oh, it's just so hard to stay still for that long.
It is. Oh, let's tell them
without falling asleep.
Tell them about the difference between assemblies and conventions.
Conventions are 3 days.
3 days, and we invite. So assemblies are more private. This is for the witnesses, the ones that's already kind of been indoctrinated. Then conventions are more what they go and do a campaign and invite everybody. They go door to door and invite people to these conventions, and these go from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and listen. So the assemblies they happen every weekend for pretty much everybody
in the summer.
Yeah, or the assemblies is wintertime usually.
Oh, I was talking about the convention.
Oh no, so your assemblies is wintertime usually, and this happens with everybody. You know, ours might be this week, and then y'all's is next week, and it's kind of everybody, you know, all at the same time. But it kind of falls on different weeks.
Yeah,
versus the conventions is more like from this date, it starts May to August, but the assemblies can go on for a lot longer, right?
Because I remember having like a spring assembly and I had like a winter assembly.
Yeah.
There was two. I think there's 2 assemblies per year, one convention.
Yeah.
So
and they kind of rotate them out.
Yeah. So you're always like going. You're always looking to go to one of these. So
yeah.
It was like there was an annual meeting, 2 assemblies, a convention, one memorial a year, and then you have your meetings every week. Every week.
Yeah, so back into it, your conventions, you would get there, and it's usually at some type of stadium or something, usually, because you might have drove by and seen it. And all it is the same thing as the assembly, but this is where, the baptism also happens at the conventions and assemblies.
Yeah.
Yep, this is where they recruit, and everybody locks into their contract in front of everybody. And the conventions go on for hours and hours, and usually these are like the seats you sit in at games or monster trucks. Is real uncomfortable, and you got to sit there for hours and listen to this stuff, and it puts you to sleep.
It can put you to sleep.
Yep.
This is where they usually introduce like a new publication, and they'll show you all the videos that they have been working on, and you have the drama at the convention as well. So there's like small things that like Jehovah's Witnesses look forward to for the assemblies and conventions, and those are the main points, like all of the media stuff. So all the little videos that they show, usually new songs are sung at the conventions. What else?
And the conventions hold more people usually. Yeah, that's the difference with the conventions and assemblies.
Right.
So you bunch a bunch of people from this start of the month to probably a couple months later, and this packed with more and more people.
Yes.
And you pretty much are just going to the Kingdom Hall in a new setting. And getting put to sleep. If
you don't have a ton of friends in the conventions and like assemblies either, it's so boring.
And then you can only...
It is not fun.
Remember, you can only really talk to your friends on the break, and then on your lunch break, and then right after that, you are told to sit right back down. Like, you can't really mingle and hang with your friends while the program is going on. That's Sean.
Me and my friends used to sit next to each other and be laughing like the whole time in the convention. Like half the time be like writing the notes and everything, and the other part of the time just be fooling around. But yeah.
And that's frowned upon.
Yes, it is.
And that's pretty much what happens inside of a hall. If you haven't been, you're not really missing out on nothing.
That was about it. We just wanted to give you a quick summary and a quick peek into what happens at the Kingdom Halls, assemblies, conventions.
All of that good stuff. But we'll be back with more videos to come. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch y'all the next time.
See you next time.
See y'all.